Okay, I think we're live. Um, we're gonna do today basically the story we're gonna tell today. This is just okay. Get that straightened out. Got it. Here's my Coke. Pardon my Coke. Let's see if we can get it a bit more comfortable for me. Still seeing pretty well. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the time that Picasso was accused of stealing the Mona Lisa. Because yeah, that happened. It happened. Picasso was basically he was genius. Like people think like he couldn't paint. No, he could paint. He could paint like crazy. The reason so paints the way he does was photography wasn't really that big a thing. And well, why are we painting like stuff that we can just take pictures of? Like, why are we painting this flower? Why are we painting this? We can just take a camera, take a picture of it, and be done with it, and not pay like $10,000 to get it done. So that's why Picasso was doing what he was doing, was because he was basically questioning what makes art. And that's why people consider him a good artist. It's not because like he was a bad artist, because he most certainly was not. He was very good at art, but basically like I won't talk more about art history. I guess it's because people think it's like an elite subject or something, so there's no reason to talk about it. But like, and so they just kind of like making fun of it. Like, why was Picasso painful? He just couldn't paint. No, Picasso could paint. Picasso could paint real good. The reason he didn't paint realistic things was not because he couldn't. It was because he thought that there were more interesting things that he could say with his art than just a picture of a horse. This is a picture of whatever. Now, I was thinking about doing an exercise with this for art thing, but I think we're just going to go ahead and go. Audio has been horrible, and I'm trying to fix it. I have no idea why the audio in my stream sounds so bad. I'm seeing if I use the from the actual web camera, like if that works any better. But I'm not sure. We're gonna try. So I'm not gonna go detail. And basically, what I'm doing is, it's been a while since I've done art. I don't really work as an artist, and I haven't for a while. I've done, mostly programming my career. So I'm just doing this as a lark to give me some like stress relief and stuff. And so I can talk and paint. That sounds fun to me. So I thought I'd do this as like a little, not even sure I'll do this every weekend, but it's fun to do it every once so often. So, wish anybody's going interested, but I'm interested. So we're going to walk around and we'll talk. So Picasso was kind of considered a rebel. Like, even though like things he was saying were completely valid, and that's why he's considered, part of an entire movement. I think it was a Cubist movement is what they called it, Impressionism, Cubism. They basically were trying to create things that a camera couldn't. A camera can create. What point does a human have? So they were asking that question and trying to answer it through art. And that's basically what they were doing. But some people did not like his art, and one of the main detractors from his art was, Nazism. Nazism hated Picasso. Oh my God. Oh my God, they hated him so much. And if you look at the history of, Hitler, it's not surprising he hated him, because Hitler was turned away from art school for painting things he thought were much better than what Picasso was painting. So He was angry as anything, and he was upset. People were turning into a thing about Hitler. I guess it's because they're some in the same time period. So an interesting thing to talk about. But what I really want to talk about is Picasso being thought of stolen the Mona Lisa printed. Like uh, when they started accusing him, he actually had to go hide some pieces he had stolen from Toulouse. So he hung out in, like, sure if you know any artists would hang out together in lofts and stuff like that, artist lofts, right? So Picasso hung out in lofts, and one of his friends would bring by, like, pieces he stolen from the Louvre. So when the Mona Lisa went missing, it was a big surprise, and everybody was like, oh, they were like immediately Picasso, because Picasso was thought of being like against, you know, old art, and he really wasn't. He wasn't against old. Just again asking the question of, why do I have to paint this if a camera can do it twice as well as I can? Like, why? Something else. The cameras freed me from having to paint, like, portraits the rest of my life. Why can't I paint what makes me happy? I mean, that's a valid question. Like, we all ask, like, what are we doing here in this universe? And this is Picasso's way of doing it. And so Picasso's friends would bring him art pieces from the Louvre, like just statues and stuff. And when the Mona Lisa went missing, they actually ended up trying to get rid of the art pieces and throwing them in the river, but they couldn't at the limit, because even though they weren't old artists, they still respected old artists. So what they didn't want to get rid of pieces that other artists had done. So they just basically, like, when they failed at getting rid of the pieces that they did have, they just basically turned themselves in and were like, here's this, but we didn't steal the Mona Lisa. And luckily they believed them. Like, I mean, I don't know why people wouldn't believe them, but yeah. Because, I mean, they admitted to stealing stuff, so, like, I'm sure that Picasso was a wild person. Like, he was wild. Like, they were all wild. Who was it? I'm trying to remember his name. Salvador Dali. Oh man, Salvador Dali. He was around the time, and that man was crazy. He was crazy. He would basically, he gave a speech once about he did it in like a diving tank, and he nearly suffocated. He wrote a cauliflower thing. He had a mustache that is the most amazing mustache I have ever seen on anyone. And he drew crazy watches. I mean, what's not to love Salvador Dali? But I think that's all I really have to say about Picasso. Picasso's not my... He's interesting, but he's the kind of interesting that I'm not interested, I guess, kind of. Just like a continuation of that story, and that story is more interesting. But I'm going to talk about the Mona Lisa being stolen. I probably need to talk about the people in our suspect. I might start talking about Nazis next, because, you're going to have a conversation about Picasso. You almost kind of have to have a conversation about Nazism, because they were very much against stuff. And honestly, like, if they got any piece of art that wasn't, like, they actually thought the Jews were doing this kind of art. They thought the reason this kind of art was popularized was because of Jews. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But that's what they thought. They thought that Jews were starting this art movement, and they were against it. They're against it. Sad, But, yeah. They basically, like, they burnt a lot of art and art. And a lot of it still hasn't been recovered. They actually stole an entire room. The Nazis actually at one point stole an room. It's called the Amber Room. It's in Russia. And from what we know, it was absolutely gorgeous. But they've actually recreated it, so you can still go see a amber room, but you can't see the amber room because they basically they talk of it's in some sort of tunnel or somewhere or something that some people still haven't figured. So there are people who go and look for the amber room like all the time. I don't think I find it. I think it's been destroyed somehow. Either that or it's in some billionaire's house somewhere and he's never going to give it back. So the reason I kind of want to do this because it's kind of fast and it's like 11 o'clock now. I'm going to finish this off and go to bed. So shaped up. This Picasso's art's actually good exercises for people who start to learn to draw, just in case you were interested in that. But the reason being is you don't have to worry as much about it looking perfect, because the point isn't for it to look perfect. It's for it to look the way you want it to look. So Picasso is great for beginning art students to play around with, because you can mess with shapes and stuff without worrying too much about the way it looks. And that was what Picasso was trying to do. That was colors. And paints I think paints, because of the Industrial Revolution, were just starting to get cheaper then. So before that, it was harder. So it was becoming more of a movement of the people. Like, you have to have like super expensive art paint stuff. You can just be an artist. So, and you don't have to paint like very complicated things. You can just be an artist. And that's basically what they were saying. Crazy people though, like artists are crazy. You have to be kind of crazy. Because often you'll spend a lot of time on it. People won't value your time enough. So you have to be crazy. Huh. Fun kind of crazy, but still crazy. Yeah. So I don't see anybody's joined. So anybody's joined, just go ahead and say something. So I'm just going to paint Picasso. Yeah, it's getting tired. This might be my last one tonight. Oh, I'll do my audio for my TikToks. And then I could probably... Maybe I should do my Kingdom Ill one. I still have that one left. Audio for that one done already. Decision time. No, I'm really getting tired. It's 11 o'clock. I'll go to bed. There's always tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think I've used green tonight, have I? I gotta mix one in a second because I haven't used any green at all tonight. Hello. Luana, are you there? Probably not. I think it's some bots. There's some kind of bot going around. I don't know what it is. They do weird talk and stuff. Vum to go. Don't know what that is. I mean, okay, he's sick again. A sick dog again. Now, do I want to mix the green or do I want the green I have over the other corner? I guess I'll mix the green. It's a little bit more white. Yeah, it's way too much white. Yeah, probably okay though. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pleased with it. Okay, let's mix another peach. How many peaches have I made today? Oh, it's been a ridiculous just today. Hello. Vung Unk. Are you a bot? Probably bot. Oh, wasted so much paint on that. Oh, there's never going to waste all that. That's still way too dark. Okay. A bit more white there. Oh, Jesus, that's way too peach. It'll probably be okay. Then we'll go ahead with that. Yeah, that's not right there. Hello, black paint. You're the bane of my existence. I'm not right. I want to say black paint. Black paint. Ugh. And of course, you've gotten my brush. I'm adding more black in this than the actual original because I like black a lot. I think there's a white I'm missing over the white. The white right now is just blank canvas, and that can look weird sometimes if left by itself. So we're gonna fix that real quick. My brush isn't clean enough. Let me clean it a bit again. Yeah, that one's not clean either. They're all not clean. Especially when you're painting white, because you have to be very careful about white paint, because it's just yellow too sometimes. It just does not like being around any other color. It needs itself or pitch a fit. Harmony, we're almost done, honey. Again, okay? Where's your brother? Let's see, we're gonna add some of the green stuff that's bothering me here. I'll go back over the black if we have to, but we're gonna fix it. And we're good. Okay. What? No. What is this? Okay.